On average, you're exposed to 10,000 ads per day in social media, commercials,
If you think you're gonna find a bargain at Big Bill, you can kiss my ass!
billboards, on public transportation. Even the logos and emblems on the products you use every day count as advertising. Just like the movies, product placement has always been a part of the gaming industry, with some of arcade's most popular titles like Tapper being wholly sponsored by huge corporations. Fast forward into the 2000s, and minus blatant shovelware titles, product placement becomes a bit more subtle. This screenshot from a 2004 NBC article claims EA is attempting to add value through their in-game ads by being relatively conservative. We'll see. Another article I found on EA's own website did show that their ads do apparently work, claiming that a study commissioned by EA and Gatorade, done by Nielsen, and focusing on their sports titles, upped Gatorade spending by 24% in those particular households. Comment down below if you ever changed your oil because of a Castro ad in Need for Speed, I guess. So it is the early 2000s. I'm a young child without any money. I'm playing Forza, I'm playing Gran Turismo, I'm playing Burnout, Midnight Club, and worst of all, when it comes to filling your screen with unwanted ads, Need for Speed. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at these ads. Let's see what they are, if any of these brands still exist. Obviously they do. And let's see how they've evolved over time. So we're going to start off with Burnout Paradise. This is the 360 and PS3 version. Right away you leave the junkyard and are met with a Vizio ad. And then we get into a Burger King ad. Burger King was huge with EA. I don't know why, but in so many games, Burger King, there it is. And then we get to a Gillette ad on the Vans, Gillette Fusion. Those were all over the place. At the original 360 and PS3 versions. I'm not 100% sure, don't quote me on this. I remember there being something about dynamic advertisements in a lot of EA games. I don't know if EA was the one or if there were other companies talking about this, but dynamic ads where ads would change as the game would update. And I couldn't find anything concrete on this, but I remember certain game companies were talking about this, but I don't remember for sure if Burnout Paradise was one of those games. Now this is the remastered version where, if you notice, none of the billboards or the vans exist. I don't know if it was just the change in climate in in-game advertising that caused this, but you see all the real advertisements are gone, replaced with more of the fake advertisements, as well as in-game advertisements for DLC that you can buy, which are also in the original PS3 and Xbox 360 versions. So I think that's definitely interesting to see. So there's that. And now we jump into Midnight Club Los Angeles, which is pretty much just one big advertisement. I can't even take the time to point out every single ad in this game. Not to mention, there are real car brands in this game, which pretty much count as advertisements, whether they're paying to be in the game or the game is paying the licensing. Rockstar is paying them the licensing. It still counts as advertisements. I mean, we're talking huge luxury brands. We're not talking small brands. We're talking huge big box stores. We're talking big luxury brands. I mean, really take the time to acknowledge how many big, huge billion-dollar companies are in this game, are just paying for billboard space in a virtual environment. It's crazy. It adds to the immersion, but at the same time, this is purposely done in a virtual space. It's kind of crazy to acknowledge, so it's kind of wild. Next, we have New York's Times Square. I actually have two different versions of this. This one's Gran Turismo 4 from 2004, and you can tell they kind of did a scan, because most of the ads that were there are just here. Some are more blurred out than others. Maybe that's the scan, or maybe that's because they didn't want to worry about licensing or getting cease and desist or whatever. I mean, it's a big company. It's Sony. It's Polyphony, but you can tell that Infinity ad, NYPD, JVC, Planet Hollywood, NASDAQ, MTV over there, Toys R Us here, LG up there, Kodak. Some are more brighter and more vibrant, noticeable. Planet Hollywood, TGI Fridays, the big Cadillac thing that was in Times Square for years, McDonald's. Some things are just more noticeable than others, but they're still there, because Times Square is meant to sell. In fact, I'm convinced that these tracks are in, or were in, these games to just sell us stuff, or whether on purpose or not, it's just there for that reason. And then the next one is 3 years later, Forza Motorsport 2, 2007. Everything's even more brighter, more vibrant, more noticeable. Some ads are taken out, other ads are put in, like all the Sentra ads in 2007. Xbox, the Gray Line, New York sightseeing. I mean, that's a little bit like immersive, but it's a racing game. Why are those there? Doesn't make me want to go to New York and go sightseeing anymore, but okay. And then you have other things that are still there. You know, you still have the JVC, you still have the Cadillac thing down at the end. You still have MTV. You still have Toys R Us. Not that it exists anymore, but you still have the MTV thing across the way. You still have, I believe you still have the TGI Fridays. Yeah, you still have TGI Fridays. You have the tickets booth, McDonald's. You have Sbarro there, which was in Gran Turismo, but it was very blurry and covered, but it's bright and vibrant here. Makes me want a piece of pizza. I don't know. Okay, it's just, it's crazy like this. That it's a fun track, sure, but it's also like, it's kind of boring, kind of simple, and I feel like it's just here just to sell people stuff, and it's crazy. So Need for Speed's always been kind of in the front of my mind when I think of in-game advertising. You have they say it's conservative, but I mean, you have Best Buy stores, you have all the billboards, you have the singular thing right there, always, even when it doesn't need to be. I mean, at least in Midnight Club LA, the T-Mobile Sidekick would flip up and it wouldn't always be there. But you have billboards all the time, Old Spice, Edge, Singular, as well as the Singular icon, which Singular doesn't exist, but who cares? It's not like they can update it. ING Direct, who's thinking about banking when they're street racing? Pontiac, I mean, there's one Pontiac, it's a GTO, not a very street racing car, I guess drag racing, but whatever. Of course, Burger King, because you have to, because it's Need for Speed. Okay, even though it's this game's fault, everyone smelled like Axe in the mid-2000s, they still did advertising great and pretty well damn near perfect in this game, Burger King. They did advertising few and far between. It's hardly noticeable, almost subliminally so noticeable in this game. There's the special Burger King challenge that you had to have a cheat code for. There's a cheat code for like a special Castrol car, which is just a normal car with some special whatever on it. It's almost like secretly noticeable, like I said. It's not in your face. It's not stupid, obnoxious. It's the right kind of in-game advertising. It's perfect, just like the rest of Need for Speed Most Wanted. It's great. It's perfect. It's how it should be done. Bravo, EA. So I think in Carbon, I think they improved on that again. Most of the ads are even more subtle. It's more like bus benches, and everything's more car-focused as far as the advertisements with Castrol, Mazda, Cooper Tire, AutoZone. They even put these fun little like Mazda dealerships in doing like a lot of the Mazda advertising for like the Mazda Speed 3 and the RX-8. There's still like the billboards and whatever around, but like the Cooper Tire Shop is an actual tire shop, and there's AutoZone, whatever, advertising in your garage. They did a really good job in Carbon. I think they did that good as well. So where does that leave us now? Modern racing games like Need for Speed Unbound and The Crew have season passes or pass type things. We're constantly paying for updates and paying for new content, so they don't need to use in-game advertising for revenue. It's just over. They don't need Burger King. They don't need Edge or Singular or the T-Mobile Sidekick to pay for it. But game budgets are getting higher. GTA 6's budget is rumored to be $2 billion. That's crazy. So maybe we'll see the return of in-game advertising coming back. Not the games like GTA 6, but maybe the other big budget AAA or quadruple A. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean, but games are becoming quadruple A nowadays. Titles soon enough if games ever call for it. I mean, we certainly see it with in-game brands and emblems and logos, but it's becoming less and less nowadays. But if you've ever been encouraged to buy anything because of playing a video game, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of in-game advertising. And thanks for watching.